Hey guys, what's going on? This is your girl Ashley was coming at you with another conspiracy theorist topic. All right, I will admit I am a big UFO conspiracy nerd. I will admit, hey, seeing how I've actually seen a couple weird unidentified objects in my time, I can't blame me honestly. But guys, this one in particular though, I will go on a bender and say I believe that yes, because a lot of people will put out there that the government does have access to spaceships, technology, and has been studying them. And honestly, I believe that. I really do. I'm a big woman about timing. Timing is everything. And when you think about it, guys, the clues have been right in front of our faces. Look at our cell phones. Look how technology has grown over these years and how it's constantly adapting. Now, I know you're thinking like, oh, that's just probably great engineering. But I think they had help. So let's go into this. All right, guys. So if you recall the infamous Roswell UFO crash sighting that took place early July of 1947. Now, this is the thing. There was a very interesting situation that happened just prior to that. So on June 24th, 1947, Private pilot Kenneth Arnold spotted a series of unidentified objects flying around Mount Rainier and other mountainous areas along the way. He spotted more than four weird flying saucers, guys. Now, that's not so crazy, is the fact of the matter is this took place right before Roswell. Literally a month right before Roswell crash took place. And if you look at the map versus the areas where he saw these unidentified objects versus the Roswell crash site itself, guys, it's like along a straight path. Yeah. Makes you kind of wonder. And he said that he saw those flying saucers flying in and out of mountainaries and things like that coming from behind the mountains. So Native Americans have stated over years that there has been weird anomalies with certain mountains in the U.S. And there's also been sightings, guys, where you see UFOs and strange sightings that take place along the line of certain mountainary areas as well too. So that makes you kind of wonder. Now we're coming to 1947 as seeing a lot of sightings and crash sites, but coincidentally then you have JFK announces he wants us to make the trip to the moon. He's adamant about this, guys, like pushing for this. Now when he's pushing for this, all this interesting enough takes place in 1961. So when you add 1947 to 1961, they had time. So remember, guys, supposedly the government has not stated that, the crash site that took place in Roswell, nothing happened, nothing crashed there. They didn't take no pieces of, metallic parts off of ships. None of that happened. But when you add that into all of a sudden the president himself announces he wants us to go to the moon, where'd that come from? And when you look at it, guys, also Russia also is putting a bid to make it up there as well too, and they actually, in fact, do. They also make it up to the moon in 19. Let's see here. They make it up to the moon in 1959. Again, guys, look at the dates. 1947 from the first documented crash sighting of a UFO, as well as a pilot seeing them in the air in 19 as well 47 too. Come on, look at the time, guys. If the U.S. did not have access to crash sites or, crash ships and possible alien bodies, the timing of all this space craziness is a little interesting. It's a little far-fetched. After some time, y'all had time to study these spaceships and contraptions and, learn the technology of them. Is that what helped push you to want to go to the moon? Kind of wonder. Because then too, you guys, you also see a flare in how technology and equipment starts to transcend. So even automobile styles change. You have even equipment like kitchen equipment stuff that changed. And when you really look into it, it kind of has like a space age theme to it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we was going space crazy, which they were back then. They really were. So, guys, I mean, look at the facts. Right after the first documentary spaceship crash take place, as well as the first actual documented sighting, then all of a sudden this push for us to go into space, as well as the technology to develop to get us up there, is just like booming. And then when you look into it, guys, robotics, all that stuff starts coming into play as well too. So therefore, I do believe the government does have access to space technology and equipment and ships and bodies as well, UFO bodies. And I believe over the years they have been studying and harvesting that technology, building to a lot of the technology we have to this day. You know what I'm saying? Just and when you think about it, it's big booming business because yeah, you know, they're preparing for possible maybe a hostile takeover. And then too, when you think about it, whoever has the hold of this technology is king. You know what I'm saying? And that can put them ahead of the game with other countries, Russia, you know, anybody. It puts them in the head of the game. But it kind of also makes you wonder if you had I'll just say if you had the whole crash that took place down in Roswell, you know, if that happened in 1947 and then Russia themselves kind of make the pledge on making themselves known to get up to space in 1959, it kind of makes me wonder, did the US give them some of that information? You know, like did the US trade them some of the technology, or was there a spy in the works that smuggled some of the technology to them, or maybe they had their own type of crash situation as well over there too? I don't know. Again, guys, it's timing. There's just too many obstacles and people all interested in doing the same bid around the same time these crashes take place, or sightings as well too. Very interesting, guys. But I don't know. I mean, but truly, I do believe that they do have access to spaceships. I really do, and I believe they are using that stuff. I think that's another component to why AI technology is booming as well too. Because when you look into it, guys, when you look at the different spaceships that been documented or whatever behavior that you find online, you can tell even that technology, if it's fake or not, it is changing. It has developed. Therefore, if you also notice, as well as our technology has changed, has developed. And for every time you see a lot of these spaceships, you know, being covered, you know, you might be able to see the style or the shape of them, whatever may have you. I'm pretty sure they probably, you know, got more access to more spaceships, to, you know, whatever. Because look how our technology is constantly, even now more than ever, always changing. I don't know. You tell me.